I was in Australia. I moved to Australia when I was 17. Did door-to-door sales out there. That was a grind. Back to the UK and I did insurance sales. Obviously, most people do like, right, the next step is corporate now. Like get
Yeah.
the big money, go into corporate. And I got there and I was like, oh God, like this is awful. Like I'm starting an office, everyone's older than me. I was never selling anyone in it, right? I was like an account manager. I took it with the wrong foot. I took it in the wrong direction. So then I had to step back and pivot, right? Where is sales? Like, where actually can I go from here? Here we are. I mean, I'm literally on my way out of my corporate role 6 months in because I've started something easier that pays me more.
The way I like to put it is this is the perfect combination of capital closer and really remote sales. Bobby coming from a tech sales account executive background.
To be honest, mate, like I was taking a couple of calls after work. Yeah, there was some rough nights. Don't get me wrong, there was some nights where I stayed up late. It wasn't even that hard though. Literally, like I can't make it sound more complicated. I literally just opened my calendar post 5:30 p.m. Got on the calls. I think my second call, I got a 10k PIF, which is £1,000 in commission. End of the month, I just blinked and I had 5.8k in comms. So
You made it happen part time from a 60-day start point to go in that second full month to do 5.8k part time. Like, how long would it take to have an increase of 5,800 net take home? It's just impossible. Master the process, constantly keep learning, and you get that progression. And we are back in the room with Mr. Bobby Swan, very exciting member of your head. And to be honest with you, the way I like to put it is this is the perfect combination of capital closer and really remote sales. Bobby coming from a tech sales account executive background, which we'll get into, and anyone that's from that background, SDR, account exec, recruitment, broker, whatever it may be, it is the perfect fit. In terms of playing in a better league, going from like League Two to the Premier League, and Bobby's a perfect example of that. So excited to dive in. So Bobby, give us a bit of an overview. Who are you? What are you doing before coming on board Capital Closer? What were you able to sort of make last month in commissions? And yeah, we'll take it from there.
yeah, so I'm Bobby. I'm 20 years old, so a bit on the younger side, but been
Right.
in this tech account executive role for about 6 months, and then obviously just kind of knew that that wasn't what I wanted to do after that sort of honeymoon phase sort of worn out, and I realized like, oh, I'm just sat in this office, and then joined Capital Closer at the start of March, and then end of May I ended on 5.8k in comms, so it's only up from there. I mean, that was my first month on the offer.
Now, what's interesting to know is that 5.8k in comms made. How did you do that in terms of timings? Are you still in, which is still in your 9 to 5?
Yeah, just after the 9 to 5. I mean, just making it work. But it's like I said to you before. Like I originally thought, like, oh, this is going to be like heavy. Like I'm going to be working like 3, 4 a.m. at night, and then getting up for work in the morning. To be honest, mate, like I was taking a couple of calls after work. Yeah, there was some rough nights. Like, don't get me wrong, there was some nights where I stayed up late. It wasn't even that hard though. Like, if I'll be honest with you, I just took a couple calls, pinged a couple of sales in, and then end of the month, I just blinked and I had 5.8k in comms. So I
So
would
what did it
wouldn't even say it was hard.
well, what did it look like in terms of like the part-time element? Because obviously, for us, the whole process is obviously the transition phase. So you do it part-time, evenings and weekends. I think people in corporate sales are always interested to understand how does that look? How does that work? And you mentioned there as well, you're in a what was it? Is it account exec? I'm right in saying, obviously, right?
Yeah, account executive. So I looked after obviously it was with a tech company. I looked after we work with car dealerships. So all the car dealerships in the southeast, I was their account manager.
Right.
Um, Basic role, right? So we're talking like 9 to 5. And then when I obviously started this and I was looking to get on an offer, I would just open my calendar post like 5:30 p.m. when I'd get home. And the calls just started to flood in, right? And I started taking the calls. I mean, it is literally like I can't make it sound more complicated. I literally just opened my calendar post 5:30 p.m., got on the calls. I think my second call, I got a 10k PIF, which is £1,000 in commission. And I was just like, yeah, like this is just easy. And I'll just carry on doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, look, as I say, that's why I'm pretty direct and will always be direct. Like if you're in corporate sales and you've got the ability and you've got the hunger, the drive, the passion, you've got to be careful saying it. But if there's someone to say it's easy to, it's those individuals. Because it is. And you're a prime
Mhm.
example of that. But just to give some backstory then, like how long have you been in the tech sales role?
So tech sales, I was in there for just 6 months. Well, I'm still currently in it.
Yeah.
Literally on my way out of it now to go full time here. But 6 months in tech sales. I did a couple other sales roles before that.
Okay.
But like
What'd you do?
this was like a proper. So before that, I was in Australia. I moved to Australia when I was 17. Did door-to-door sales out there. That was a grind.
Yeah.
Then went
Tense.
back went back to the UK and I did insurance sales. So like on the phone, so it's like 200 cold dials a day, just smashing that out. And then I thought, like, obviously most people do like, right, the next step is corporate now, like get
Yeah.
the big money, go into corporate. And I got there and I was like, oh God, like this is awful. Like I'm sat in an office, everyone's older than me, like it's just corporate politics. And then I'm obviously looking for that next step again and took the next step here and here we are. I mean, I'm literally on my way out of my corporate role 6 months in because I've started something easier that pays me more.
To talk to me because I've been through it. Was your office up in London when you went into the corporate sales role from doing door to door and insurance sales, then going corporate sales? Was it in the office? Was it hybrid? Was it remote? What was the setup?
Yeah, so good question. So the office, that's actually closer to me. They had two offices, so one in Manchester and one that's in Wales, where I am.
Okay.
So they obviously go into the office Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 in Wales. But
Oh,
coming into yeah,
oh God.
awful, awful, mate. Especially when like I knew that I could make more doing this, but coming into the summer, they said like we're gonna change it to a sort of hybrid setup. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're in the office.
Mm.
Thursday, Friday, you're working from home,
Oh,
mate. Never did I do one piece of work on Thursday and Friday. Just
incredible.
only sales calls. Like, mate, it was the dream. But
Yeah,
now
mate.
it's full time back in the office.
Well, that's the thing. You can choose how you use it, right? And I think
Yeah.
sometimes people go the other way. They're like, "Oh, great, feet up, comfortable," and it's almost like I always say, there's like little like levels in terms of like your sales role that you can get, and it's almost like the more shit they feed you, the harder it becomes to give up the good for the great. And what I mean by that
Mm.
is like it's those little things like, oh, you get to work from home once. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You get a little pay rise. Yes. You get a company car. Oh, yes. Oh, you can do
Mm.
it, but from now in another country. Oh, yeah. It's the same shit, just just a different scenario. It's the same outcome.
Yeah.
And you almost leaned into it the right way and went, do you know what? I'm gonna fucking use it now and leverage it. As I say to anyone that's remote, it's like, mate, if someone says that they're remote, I'm like, because the maths is typical is three calls an evening, 15 a week, 60 across the month, close at 25%, which is pretty crap, as you know. Um, you're closing 15 deals a month. Yeah, if you're selling a 5K ticket, 500 comms per deal, that's 7.5K US made on the side of your 9-5, right? But then when you've got those Mondays and Fridays that you're remote, you, as you say, you can you can really take the piss with it.
Mm.
Um, I'm curious to understand your first when you made the pivot into the corporate sales role, because I think a lot of people can relate to it, or they're maybe in that stage. The first few months, how did you find it? Like, was it like, oh, God, this might be it, or did you know pretty quickly, or what was your first few months like in that corporate sales role when you went into it?
Yeah, really good question. So, I mean, it was off the back. So, the corporate sales was my third sales job ever, right? And a lot of people will probably think of it the same way, right? Because I started door to door and then I went business to customer phone sales. It's just outbound dialing.
Yeah,
The obvious mindset is the next step is corporate, right? Business to business, account managing, right? So we're looking after bigger accounts, bigger deals and whatnot. That was the obvious sort of pathway for myself, right? That's what I thought. So I took it, right? So I looked for that corporate job and I looked for the corporate sales role and I got in there, right? And I think like the first month it was all like kind of cool, like, oh, this is new, like I'm dealing with larger accounts, a lot more money. And then you get like a 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, and then you realize like all the bad starts to appear, right? So then it's like I'm like 4 weeks in, and then I realize that oh, the sales cycle is quite long here. I only get paid commission once a quarter. So that was a bit of a hit. It was a bit weird. And I'm coming in, I'm coming in, I'm coming in, and I'm looking around the office. I'm like, I don't really like coming into this office. And everyone around me is a lot older than me, and they feel like no one's really got the same goals that I do. But I left it, right? And I come in, and I'm coming for a couple more days. And I realized, like, God, I'm wasting my time here. Like, this was not the next step forward. Like I've come here thinking that it was going to be, yes, granted, it's a bit more money, but everything that comes off it, right? So we're talking all the sort of tax on the fact that I get paid commission once every 3 months, and it's not even that much commission. The sales cycle is about 2 months anyway. I sort of felt I didn't feel like I'd taken a step backwards, but it felt like the step forward I took was in the wrong direction, which
Mm,
then caused me to pivot and be like, this isn't what I want, right? Like it's not even sales at this point. I'm just sitting in an office making commission, right? Like I was never selling anyone in it, right? I was like an account manager. And it felt like the step forward I took was just I took it with the wrong foot. I took it in the wrong direction. So then I had to step back and pivot, right? Where is sales? Like where actually can I go from here? And I
yeah,
obviously stumbled on here and there we are.
I think that's a great way to put it. It is a great way to put it. Yeah, it is a step forward, but it's in the wrong direction. Curious to understand, with it being a sort of tech sales company, people almost look at, you've almost got like little levels within corporate sales, right? You've got tech sales maybe a little bit higher than sort of perhaps sort of recruitment, and you got all of that jazz, and still granted Sunday league, if we're being honest, compared to like remote sales and the ability that you can do once you're good enough. And as you know, like it doesn't come easy. You've got to be an absolute dog to get to those levels. But high performers, it's the best position to be in. Was there anyone that was in? Because I know that was a big thing for me. Was there anyone that was in the office that you looked around and thought, it's actually like exactly where I want to be? Or what were the thoughts when you looked around? Even like because we always go like obviously we're not talking about the average. Even top performer. Like was there anyone that you looked at, or what came to mind when you did look at the top performers in the office?
It's actually really funny that you should say that because I'd look around obviously at the sales team that's in the office, right? So the way it works is we had four internal and four external salespeople who would like go and actually see the sort of dealerships that we worked with. Now I was on the internal team,
Yeah,
um, for the Southeast, right? And I'm looking around at everyone else that's in the internal team. I'm making the most commission out of us in the internal team. So I'm the top performer inside the office from a sales perspective.
yeah.
And then I'm looking at the sort of external team and they're on the road all day. Granted, they're making more money than me, but it's still the same, right? And the only thing that was consistent between everyone that I looked around at is they were all much older than me and they're all just living for the weekend type of people. Just no real sort of like drive to hit it right. I would not say there's a single person in there where I'd look at them and say, that's where I want to be. Like you
Yeah.
are exactly where I want to be because all the only difference between me being in that office and making 50K more in that exact job was probably another 5, 6 years of time inside the
Oh,
company.
oh. Man, I said to we said on our end of month to well even like take yourself as an example, like doing 5,800 net in comms part time alongside your account executive role, like in the evenings on the weekends. And that's why I really want to have that conversation with yourself to like really give people an understanding of like it's non-negotiable. I see yourself very similar to Chaldeans. It's non-negotiable. We'll be speaking again in 60, 90 days once you've done 12, 15. It's non-negotiable. But I think it's great to almost cement this part of, you know, you made it happen part time. You got the proof of concept. You did the process exactly how it's need to be followed. But I think what's interesting is 5.8K in what was it? 80 days? 80 days since on board?
Yeah, around 80 days, but it was my first month on the offer. I got
Exactly.
onboarded to the offer on the 1st of April.
Oh shit, yeah. So to what? 60 days basically.
Yeah, pretty much 60 days. And
Yeah,
then, yeah,
60
now we're
days
in.
from in a single month. Obviously not across the 60, but from a 60-day start point to go in that second full month to do 5.8K part-time. Like how long would it take to have an increase of 5,800 net take home? To like it's just impossible. It's like,
It's
and
not gonna
that's the
happen.
thing. There's no like variable. You're amazing. Well done. Land a good role, master the process, constantly keep learning, and you get that progression. And that's the thing. You can, of course, there's ups and downs, but you can have that big jump up just due to a skill set. Whereas something else would take you so long. Um, it's funny you said that because I think it's on the top performer thing. It's funny because I remember there was a guy next to me who used to work that side of me actually, top performer in the office, and we were sort of joint head and head, and he'd been in the company for like 8 years, Still, do you know what? Probably one of the best salespeople I've ever worked with. Like he's just very good, which is actually a bit of a shame that I think about God, like
Mm.
what wasted potential. But everyone in the office, and this was the thing that made me know, and I think you've sort of got to have that decision with yourself where you have to make the decision that you go, do you know what? All of this hard work that I'm doing, I know isn't going to lead me to where I want to be. Because I think there's a period of time where you think it will. You're like, oh, like, something,
Mhm.
but when you make that decision, then it's like, okay, cool. This is just a pit stop. So I need to find something in the evenings and weekends that's going to get me the fuck out of here because this is the treadmill that won't. And until you make the decision where you actually come to terms, oh, it actually won't. Like it won't. You just delude yourself in terms of, oh, maybe, maybe. And I think for me, it was a realization of everyone kept going, oh, they kept saying his name and his now, oh, he does this and he's done that. And I'm like, you're literally speaking about him as if he's like this. And bear in mind, we were the exact same. But it's just because he'd been doing it year on year, and I'd just sort of been in the company for 2.5, 3 years. I was like, you're literally talking about this guy like he's oh my god, and he's doing he gets to do it, and he's like, but like you're putting that respectfully on a pedestal. Like if I'm not, like I'm not, I'd be upset I'm not doing that now, let alone then. And it's at
Mm.
that point you realize this is an environment that it's almost like football. They're gonna clap if I score a hat trick in a fucking Sunday league football club. And I'm not here for that. I want you not clapping if I don't score a goal on the first team pitch. You know, not clapping if I don't
Mm.
get a hat trick. That's the environment I want to be in. Um, when you made the decision, Bobby, and you were like, right, this isn't it. This sales role is a step in the other direction. What was your thought process? Where did you immediately go in terms of looking for the next thing, and how did you almost even come across this?
Yeah, it's a good question. I always knew about the space. I mean, like sort of everyone sort of sees it online and whatnot. But I mean, I sort of just slightly disregarded it. You see these things online, I just sort of paid no attention, right? And but when I was sat in this sort of tech sales role, and this was probably about sort of like 3 coming up to 4 months in, so I knew it was early on. So I was like, look, if I'm feeling like this now, there's
Mm,
no way I'm making it to a year. Like, there's no way
5 years
because I,
even.
yeah, oh my, like the person that sat next to me had been there for 8 years doing the exact same role as me. And I couldn't even listen to the radio in there for 8 years. So I don't know how he's done it, but
Oh, such a
I,
good point. Such a good point. Yeah,
yeah, I knew it was a step in the wrong direction, right? So I'm sat there in the office thinking like, there's no way, like I need to do something else, right? And then I just start looking into, obviously I wanted to stay into sales because I like sales, but I like the core of sales, like what we do now, right? Where it's like someone else on the phone and you're actually selling a product, right? It's not like
yeah.
an account manager or I'm ringing you and asking how your day was and how the business is going. Couldn't care less. Could not care less about how your business is going. Do
Love
not
it.
care, right? I want to sell.
Love it.
And I'm trying to get to back to that, right? And then I obviously landed on this and I looked at a few other sort of high ticket people as well. But obviously, when I had the call with yourselves, and I think I had it with Jack, he was like the same age as me. So like I really just sort of took it down a peg and I was like, I just asked him straight, I was like, how did it actually feel to be where you are? And he actually showed me his commission slip on the call.
Do you remember how
And
much it was?
I'd never tell this to his face. I think it was like £24,000. He showed me not even his commission slip, showed me his Monzo,
Mate,
which
I
made
paid
it
him.
that much more
I paid
real.
him. I can get it. I paid him. Yeah,
Mate,
yeah,
he
yeah.
literally he showed me that on the call. I think it was about halfway through the call, and it pissed me off so much because not only did he show me that, right, and he's the same age as me, and I think I'm in it like everyone around me saying, "Oh, Bobby, you got a good role, account executive in a tech firm. Like Bobby's doing really well for himself." And then another 20-year-old, exactly the same as me, shows me a 28,000 Monzo paycheck, right, and my bank account's looking like 5K. And then he goes, "Oh yeah, and I'm flying to Marbella tomorrow." It pissed me off. And I just thought, right, everyone thinks this tech sales role that I'm in right now is a good job. I feel like I'm sat in a Ford Fiesta and he's sat in a Ferrari. Doesn't matter how hard I put my foot down, he's going to go a lot faster.
Yeah.
And that's what made me on board, just because of how much it riled me up that someone else could do something 5 times better than me.
This bad
Ah,
boy.
there it is. Ah, there it is. Ah, don't do it to me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. obviously we won't share too much, but yeah, just to to relive it. Yeah, man, I remember. Yeah, so that was the biggest sort of driver for yourself. You ultimately sort of, and that's the thing. It's like a proof of concept, right? Like it's coming. We're not about. A lot of people talk about 10K a month with all of this stuff. It's like no, like if you're coming on board, like I mean, you can sort of share how you feel about Capital Closure and the organization, but that's just your baseline. You got to come in, you've got to dominate. You've got to be the best in the industry, and you've got to hold that standard and have that way of thinking every single day to push on and to be the best ultimately. Um, so you came on board at that point after having a conversation. Um, what did everything look like then in terms of how you felt coming on board, going through the incubator, being on the performance sessions, being placed on the role, all that sort of stuff? How did you sort of find that as a whole?
Yeah, really good question. It was hard to come on board at first, right? 'Cause you have all that sort of like nerves of getting on, but you ultimately take the step, right? And I took the right step forward. So I get in, and I'm obviously going through all the learning, going through all of the sort of like modules and training and whatnot to get through it and get myself placed on a role. And it was, I think I was like coming towards the end of my sort of learning. I'm doing some mock calls with some of the guys inside, just getting myself up to speed. That you switched over to the sort of the new standards like the incubator and whatnot. So the
Oh yeah,
2.0, game changer, game changer, absolute game changer, right? Because then I go back through all the modules that have been redone
yeah,
and they're better targeted, they're better sort of laid out, right? And they're easier for where you want to go. The modules inside are now completely different and so much better in terms of learning. So, like anyone coming on from now, you've got a leg up above everyone else because you're only getting started on the best knowledge. Now, the knowledge that I was learning from this sort of incubator just tripled my onboarding speed. And I think the thing that helped the most is obviously once you do the mock calls and you pass the mock calls, I was then looking for jobs. And the new job board that we've sort of put out with Closers.io and Deal Fuel, I landed my first role in like a week of looking for it just because of the job board. Like you can literally sit there, ping out applications all day. Like while I'm sat on my 9 to 5, it keeps a tracker of every single one that you've done, which ones you should follow up with. All you have to do is just do exactly what it says on the screen. And like in like literally a week, 2 weeks, I'd landed a role and I was off to the races then at that point. But yeah, it made it so much easier to land the role with everything that you'd put forward and how we changed it internally to the sort of 2.0 model. All the modules different. Going on to land on a role, I was more confident because of that. And then I landed the role, had my first sales call, didn't make it, had my second sales call, 10K PIF. And I was like, yeah, yeah, no way. Like, there's no way I would ever sit in that 9 to 5 office.
How how did you find like I'd be interested to understand like and that's why I was like it's just so straight. We have to vet further on the front end where we directly place because it's like we can only do that if the quality is high. If you're an account exec, if you've got the hunger, the drive, that's why we had those initial conversations to see because I'm not going to sit here and say probably not, maybe, but I'm not willing to say that. But if you're an account exec, a recruitment FX broker, like simple. How did you find like the actual sales process and the nuance and the difference? Because you had a lot of sales experience prior, like all the guys we work with, and then coming into this, what were your thoughts on the process? As you said, it is just selling.
Mm. Exactly that, right? And it's a lot different from obviously coming from an account sort of executive role because on those type of calls, right, I'm not really selling anything. I'm having like a 3 month cycle where I'm trying to convince you to buy something maybe 3 months down the line and warming you up. This is one script, one entire process. Start of it, you don't have a sale. End of it, you do have a sale, right? So going through it was completely different. But because I ultimately wanted to get back into pure sales, it's actually fun going through the process and doing the mock calls because you're learning where those pain points are in real time. I've never sold. I've done door to door, business to customer, and tech sales. I've never sold like I have here with the sales techniques I have here, with the objection handling I have here, with the discovery I have here, all those sort of modules. I've never done anything like it, which is what made it so fun. Because a lot of people that maybe haven't sold high ticket sales, and I don't know if you'll feel the same, Connor, but when you get to that sort of objection handling point, and especially now as well, I know like second after I drop the price, because I'm so clued up on objection handling and I've got all of those ammo points from previously in the call, It's almost like I want them to just give me something, just so I can just clap back like that. And there's no better feeling than having all the ammo points and someone gives like a smoke screen and you just absolutely shut them down because of the process that you've done up to this point. And you've got all those why now, limit and belief, everything like that. I've never sold like this. And it's just crazy to see how simple it was to learn this.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? I said that to someone the other day that we brought someone on board. He came from a very, very strong brokering background, like whiskey, gold, like he's doing like 8, 10 grand a month commissions, like in that field. And I said, mate, trust me, like you might think you're good at sales. Like when you get in here, like you actually feel like you're really good because it's so like you feel so much at control because it's emotional, and it's very transactional. So you have to be very good in a short window. Like every single word, every tonality, every pause matters. Rather than I can probably fuck up a bit. I speak to that person, then that person, then that, and then it's such a big deal. And it's like you're not even winning the deal. The company's winning the deal. And I think that's actually a key thing to know that in your corporate sales role, for the most part, you're not winning it. Your company is, because it's just like the brand and the people and the product. Whereas this, you're winning it. Like you are literally, because it's a transformation that you're selling. Like they're buying into you massively because it's literally a virtual call with yourself. So in terms of placement onto the role, don't have to share too much, but to be honest with you, I think it's a great role that you've landed, and I think it's very suited for yourself. I'm really happy that you're on that role. Do you want to give a bit of backstory on like the role that you're on? Because people are always interested as in like what types of roles can I be placed on and whatnot, just so people have an overview and how you're finding selling it as well.
Yeah, cool. So I actually got placed onto a business acquisition role. So on a obviously really popular in the UK. I won't go into the name, but business acquisition role with two sort of ticket prices. So a £10,000 ticket price and a £20,000 ticket price. Now, I pretty much landed this role just by sort of speaking to the offer owner, so the person himself, and then some of the people that were managing it. And they were doing a bit of a like a change around in the teams, right? So how it's run is they obviously have the one guy, so the offer owner at the top, and all of the leads that come down are split into two sections. So we've got the paid ad leads, which obviously go to one sort of sales team, and then the cold outreach sort of leads. So we're talking like DM outreach, everything like that, which go to me. I'm the
You
only
get them
closer in
ones, do
that
you?
section.
You get those
Yeah.
ones.
So
Animal.
I get those ones, right? So all like the cold outreach, so we're talking like DM cold outreach, LinkedIn cold outreach, or inbound, right? But like nothing paid, right? Now I'm the only one on that team, so it's just me. And just landing the role right, I was initially scared because I'm like, I've never sold something £10,000 or £20,000. Never have I asked for £10,000 on a call like this up front. So I was initially sort of scared. I knew business acquisition a little bit, but not much at all. Not much compared to the other person on the phone who I'm trying to sell to, right? They know a lot more than me. But because of the way the process is structured and how we sort of kept the pitch short, I didn't need to know much about it at all. All I really needed to know is why haven't they done it now?
Yeah.
And what are they looking to get out of it? I don't really need to know anything about business acquisition at all.
Yeah.
And although I was scared, I got my first 10K piff. And I mean, you'll know how it is the second you sell once, that sounds like, right, I can do this now. You got that
Yeah.
proof of concept. I can sell on business acquisition. Then I got another 10K piff. Then I got three 5K piffs. And then I was like, oh my God, like this is just easy. But yeah, I actually ended off the month on business acquisition on a 35% close rate with obviously just over 46K pounds collected. Um, and then I spoke to the offer owner at the end of the month, right? I'm like, oh, how did the other team get on? The sort of paid ads. So there's three of them, right? And he goes, right, Bobby, well, they actually, you actually outperformed all of them by
Really?
yourself. So I'm
Animal.
like, so I thought like, no, no, you're joking. And I'm like, well, what percent is their close rate? And these guys, obviously, none of them come from Capital Closer. 10% close rate. One of them had a 9% close rate.
Oh God. Single
So, I
digit.
mean, yeah, I mean, and exactly because of how well I performed, because of the training that I've had here in Capital Closer, they've said to me, you're now the priority closer going
Oh,
forward. Best leads go to Bobby. They trickle down from there because I'm on the best team, right? I'm on Capital Closer. So obviously it's going to go to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Just quickly, because I think it'd be curious to, I think sometimes people are interested to understand. I'm not sure if you have them off the top of your head, but you said there that you did, wait, you did 5,800 in comms
Yeah.
last month, obviously on the side of your tech sales role. You had a 35% close rate, which for context, people like, we always say we like to be conservative. I have to be as a business owner because you don't want people saying, oh, it's going to be, let's just say 25%. It's fair. Even though it's warm and inbound, it should be more. Out of the gate, let's say you're at 25%. But to be fair, that's normally if you're selling like a four, five, six, eight, like a 7K product. If it's like 10 grand, and this is pounds we're talking here,
Yeah.
um, normally people are at like, especially it's B2B, people are normally looking at like 20% close rate, especially when it's like that. Of course, when you're really, but especially out the gate. So that's you. So 35% close rate. Do you know how many calls that you, because it's quite interesting for people to know how many calls you took and how many attended you had at all last month, roughly?
Ooh, I think calls I took. See, this is the thing. I actually didn't get that many calls last month. I think off the top of my head, might not be the exact number. I think it was around like the 26 mark, maybe even a bit less than that. And then attended and obviously qualified. I think there was a few that slipped through the cracks coming on, like and get like $200 a month. So they weren't getting sold. But off the top of my head, probably about 22 actually qualified.
22. So really, I mean, if you look over the month, you've taken basically 22 calls and well, you yeah, 22 calls. You've made 5,800 divided by 22. Yeah, you bet every call that you're taking, you're making £263 in commissions, which just every call that shows up, you're just making 263 quid in commissions. So your hourly rate is 260 quid pretty much, which is nuts. Because if you work out your hourly rate, and that's the equation that you do, you go, if I go full time now, well, let's just times that by six because I'm working double the hours or whatever. So what's the plans for you now coming into June, July, August, and beyond? Obviously, not just monetary, but as a whole, what the hell are we now doing, big dog?
I mean, you know what's coming, mate. I'm actually drafting up my notice right before we got on. So that's gonna come in. Yeah, I mean, it's literally got to the point now where it's like I'd either like I said, I literally called in sick today on my 9 to 5 just so I could take more sales calls because I'm starting a new offer, which is like helping business owners build their own offer. So I've got calls with that. I've got calls for business acquisition, and I get paid what 226 an hour. So what am I going to do going into that office again? So yeah, got to leave the 9 to 5 and 10K this month is the goal. I mean, I actually came in with the goal of 10K before my 21st birthday, which is 13th of August. I mean, we're in June now, mate, so I think I'm probably gonna hit 20K before that. So
Yes.
10K this month, leave the 9 to 5, do whatever I want, mate. Live the dream like I am.
What are you thinking? Staying where you are, or a little bit of travel? You've timed it
Not,
perfectly. Summer.
not staying in Wales, mate. Not staying in Wales. I don't know where I go, mate, but the best part is that I have the option now. I have the money now coming in, and I can make the money whenever I want, mate. So I can do whatever I want. I'm not chained to anywhere. So I haven't thought about it yet, but wherever I want to go, I'll go.
Yeah, yeah, no, I love it. I love it. Well, look, talk to me then. What would you, someone who's in tech sales, someone who's been in sales for, 3 years, 4 years, like yourself, and they've got that background, they've been in numerous different sales roles, and like yourself, they're looking at, they're looking at remote sales, they've seen it or whatnot, and they're debating it, a bit like you were, you know. What would you say to them?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if I had to say something to someone who's in like sort of similar position to me, scared or maybe a bit nervous about coming on, not really not understanding the space, what is the worst case scenario? I mean, the worst case scenario is you stay in the exact same job that you're in right now and you carry on down that path. I mean, all we're really asking is put away a couple of hours in terms of training, take a few more calls, and just back yourself a little bit because it's not like you're going to come in here, right? And if you've actually got the motivation and drive to do it, you are going to close. So just come on board, take a few sales calls, and once you close one, you will open the door. It's obviously taking the leap is that hardest part, and it was hard for myself. And you see it on these sort of videos all the time, right? People saying, just take the leap, just take the leap of faith, it'll work out, right? And you never actually know. But put yourself in the best position to get the goals that you want, right? It's like I said before, being in that sort of tech sales roles, you're sat in like a Ford Fiesta. If you put your foot down to the max, well, you're going to go 100. If someone's next to you, sat in a Ferrari, they can go 100 by barely doing any work. So just put yourself in the best vehicle and just back yourself. Back yourself a little bit more. Have a bit more confidence. Put it on the line. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to stay in that same role that you're in now. So nothing changes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, look, Big Dog, it's been an absolute pleasure. Jerry said fantastic things in terms of your calls and how you've operated and how you've moved. I mean, he said pretty early on, he said, mate, trust me, like Bobby will do very, very well. He said, watch. And yeah, just how you've operated is absolutely fantastic. So it's great to see 5.8K made part time, and I'm looking forward to it, mate. Honestly, it's great to have yourself on board and just a true example of the types of people. And you better start pushing for those top performer trips. Better start pushing Q3 maybe, or even put your hat in the ring for Q4 New York.
New
So
York, mate, it's coming.
we'll see. We'll see. Look, Big Dog, I'll catch you in a bit. Appreciate you hopping on, and we'll catch up soon.
Take it easy, brother.